rocking with the hottest Midwest playlist on the web since 1974radio.com, home of the Midwest best independent hip-hop and R&B.
Man, there go that dude again.
Yo, who is that dude?
I don't know, man, but that dude be everywhere.
Yo, I heard he do be everywhere, though.
Man, everywhere. That dude be everywhere, bro.
Yo, but where is that dude right now?
Man, I heard you can catch up with him exclusively at since1974radio.com/shop.
Did you just say exclusively?
Exclusively at www.since1974radio.com/shop.
Man, I'm going to since1974radio.com to catch up with that dude.
While you're there, make sure you check out some of the dope Midwest independent hip-hop and R&B music. Get hip, tune in, and tell a friend. www.since1974radio.com. Hey, yo, are you tired of spending high prices just to have on the same outfit as everyone else? Well, check out the Original Lifestyle Studios. The Original Lifestyle Studio has men and women fashions, hats, shoes, custom clothing, and specialty items from local vendors. Mention that you heard this ad on Since 1974 Radio and receive 10% off your purchase. The Original Lifestyle Studio, open Tuesday through Saturday from 2 to 8 p.m., located at 426 Broadway Avenue, Lorain, Ohio. 440-654-2758. That's 440-654-2758. Or visit wearelorain.com.
Since 1974 radio. Since 1974. Welcome to Ty House. You are on his show now. It's about to go down. You know what it is when you see that phone sticking out. Once again, this song, turn me up. We going live on the air since 1974 radio cameo. Midwest music is beautiful. You don't hear me though. Wanna talk more about it? Come meet me at the studio. Up in the ride, you can tune in anytime. We're going overtime, chilling with the homie Ty. And if you stay up all night, it's still going down. We know how to get the job done when you're working out. Independent hip hop and R&B. Yo, they call me Mo Beast. This track is all me. On fight night, we follow the bright lights, and I'm married to the money. I'm throwing it like rice. This right here is for the cage fighters and ball players, those that earn but with nothing to do with ball bearers. Music interviews, fashion, 24/7, big 10 states. We do it with a passion. This is nothing new. We've been at it a long time now. Since 1974 radio. Just open up your ears and eyes and watch how it goes down. Since 1974 radio. 1974 radio been here a while. Since 1974 radio. Now open up your ears and eyes and watch how it goes down. Since 1974. Welcome to Ty House. You are on his show now. It's about to go down. You know what it is when you see that phone sticking out.
Check out my melody. I like that beat. I like that beat. Get these levels right. Get these levels right. We got these levels right. What's up? What's up, y'all? It is January 11th, 2017. I am the DJ. This is my show, since 1974radio.com. The Midwest's best in hip-hop and R&B. On the independent side, we are coming at you live from the One Vision Recording Complex Studio C at 422 Broadway Avenue, Lorain, Ohio. And as always, if you see my black ass here, you know who is behind them boards producing the show.
What up, though?
The homie Ty House. What's good, my nigga? You look tired, man.
Man, 10 hours, man.
I know it's been, it'll get your ass.
I'm like on it, man. You know what I'm saying? Christmas time stuff started to slow down when you in those shops. So,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So now it's catching back up with
getting
you?
back on it, like,
Yeah.
oh man, damn. I was spoiled on that 6 hours a night, like $6-7 hours a night.
It's always funny, man. I think a lot of people, no matter what industry they're in, work changes at the end of the year. You know, like you just have this slowdown for Christmas, then you have it again for New Year's. In some cases, like for teachers and stuff, you know, you're totally off work for 2 weeks. I know some factories shut down completely for about a week or so. And then you just got to get back into the swing of things. And not to mention, if you are up here in Northeast Ohio, a lot of times when you got to make that trip back to work after kicking it in your crib for about a week straight. It's like 12 degrees outside, and nobody wants to deal with that, man. Ain't nobody got time for that. I know myself personally. I know we were discussing expansion last week and discussing, being in different areas and different zones. And man, I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't mind being in a warmer climate.
Oh man, I just was looking at the travel agency. I swear to God.
But
do is hit
you know what?
backspace one time.
Shout out to the Lord, as
Right.
always, because today we have a beautiful day.
Right.
That we've been gifted with. I'm not sure exactly what the temperature is, but it's got to be at least 40 outside.
They were saying they started the day off saying 57.
Saying 57?
Yeah. So
I thought it felt really warm
it
outside.
is. It's really nice. But it was. I ain't messing with it. You ain't gonna trick me. Mother Nature is a female.
Yeah. So I think it's supposed to last throughout the week, but by the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, it'll be back
Bottom's
freezing
supposed to fall
again.
out.
Yeah, a friend of mine. I'm going to a 3rd birthday party. A friend of mine's little boy is turning 3. They doing it at the Splash Zone.
That's gonna be barrels and barrels of fun.
I mean, I wasn't getting in the water anyway.
Right.
I mean, even if I was a kid invited to the party, I wouldn't be getting in the water
Okay.
under any circumstances. Man, I can't do the water in February thing, man.
Whew, some warm water.
You ever been in a hot tub during
Outside?
the winter outside?
No.
Me neither, man. I don't think that's something I'm interested in either.
I've been invited a few times, and I'm standing in the patio like, hell no.
Yeah, like
Crazy as hell.
let me catch you the next time.
Man, that is crazy.
I
He
would-
like, come on, Ty, you just gotta get in. Nah, I gotta get there. Before I get in, I gotta get there.
I gotta get there. But yeah, the weather's beautiful today. We are enjoying life live here on since1974radio.com. We got a nice show lined up for you. As usual, I'm just gonna shoot my shit, talk about a couple things that are on my mind, a couple things happening in the world, also locally, sports, hip hop related topics. You know I'm coming at you. We also have special guest, author Robert J. Moore, Lorraine's own. We talked about this last week for a little bit. We've been trying to catch up with this guy for about a year and a half now. Just you know how scheduling is. I don't know if some of y'all realize it. Maybe you don't because you never hosted or programmed a radio show before, so you might not know. But it's a lot harder to get these people down here into the seat at a specific time, when we're on and it works for them. So finally, we've been able to line up a time that's going to work for him. So he's going to come down. We want to talk about some of his projects that he has created previously. And I don't know if I've had an author in here before. Have I had an author in here yet?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I got a couple other author friends too that I need to bring in here. I told you,
We spoken to an Arthur.
we've spoken to one.
Yeah, when we was out in Canton.
Okay, that's what I feel like. I've definitely talked to some people that have written a book or something. You know what I mean? But they always have something else.
I've been
going
thinking
on.
about it, but
About writing a book.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, man. You should definitely do that. And get started on it yesterday.
I'm on it.
So let's.
That's all I
let's
needed
get
was
it.
a little encouragement.
Right. I will read it. I'll definitely read it.
Gonna
I
be
got
like-
a lot of.
It's gonna be like I jumped off the balcony with the parachute. Then I hit him with the Draco.
Did I hit him with the? You know what? Let's. No, I want to save that. We're gonna talk about that feud later on. Whether or not there will actually be an actual bout between Chris Brown and Soulja Boy. We're gonna get into that later on. Also, I want to talk about, as last night we had the farewell speech from President Obama. I want to share with you a couple of my thoughts about the the speech last night, which, I mean, you probably don't even really care what I think about it because I didn't watch it.
Really?
No, I didn't. But my thoughts are going to be about why I didn't watch it.
Okay.
And it's going to also be about what I thought about the reactions that I was seeing on social media. Just got a message that we're off air. So let's check into that. But moving forward, as we always do, because we are professionales, I'm going to start off today by talking about something that I'm not sure if everybody caught wind of or is familiar with. Yesterday, about during the afternoon, I started seeing posts that were referring to Backpage and referring to hoes needing to find day jobs and to find other things to do.
That is a day job.
Well, because the adult section had been censored. So, the short of the story for anybody that's totally unfamiliar with what's going on.
Which would be me.
Say, I don't know nothing. Who? What? What's it called? Huh? Back who? There is an online classified site similar to Craigslist where people can go and post if they are looking for things. And also people who are advertising things can post on that page and to find people who are looking for those things. These things can range from jobs to volunteer opportunities, selling products. There's also an adult section, which was probably the most popular section on Backpage, but it allowed adult entertainment professionals such as models, dancers, escorts to promote their services and to give them an avenue to advertise and to find people who are interested, and likewise for people who were looking for said services, a place where they could go and find it.
It sounds like there is a avid user of the back
Oh
page.
no!
I'm saying in the vicinity.
Right.
In the vicinity.
It did sound like we had a fan in the building. I'm very observant. It's my job, as I am the DJ, to know what's going on, to do my research. And
He was like, "No, not me,"
and to report it to you. I'm like, no. This is on wax. I couldn't see myself paying. I know. We'll talk. That's another subject.
You couldn't.
That's another
Bullshit.
subject. I know that's another subject because old pimp put me on to the game and said one way or another everybody pays for it one way or another. You pay for it, everybody pays for it. So niggas out there saying that you don't pay for it, you pay for it.
Domesticated tricking.
Woo. Okay, so the federal government has now come through and said, Backpage, you can no longer allow people to post these ads in this adult section. This is straight up prostitution. We're not having it. You can't do it. One thing that I found out, because I had to go to the site because I wanted to see, like, okay, so what happens like when you go to the site, you know? So it comes up with this little page and it gives you links to where you can get some background. It says, okay, find out what happened, why it happened, what you can do about it to help us out. But one thing that they said was that a lot of agencies that are like advocates for children that have been kidnapped and are involved in prostitution or something like that, basically law enforcement has been using Backpage as a tool
To trap, motherfucker.
yes, to
That's
trap
the
them.
reason why they shut it down.
Well,
Or is that one of the reasons why they shut it down?
but see, those are two conflicting things because it's like and I have another similar thing that I can add to this, but it's like it's good that it's here because we're using it to track them. Right. But then the federal government is saying, well, if it wasn't there in the first place, we feel like this would be better, and I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? I don't agree with it because
because it's kind of like the whole cocaine thing. Most big time drug dealers, when they order a shipment from the border or whatever, they might order 500 and they gonna put them in 4 separate trucks. One truck gonna get caught, 4 gonna get through.
Right.
So on the back page, for every one monster we catch, it's still 15 girls on here under 15 selling sex or being abused every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's better to just shut the whole site down than catch 1 or 2.
And but I feel like the guys that are out there kidnapping women, girls, selling them in the sex trade, using them for prostitution and stuff, they was doing that shit before Backpage. They're gonna be doing it after Backpage.
Right.
That's how I feel about that. I feel like Backpage was more for like the single mom struggling, end of the month, rent coming up.
That was there too.
She looking at her options.
That was definitely there too.
She heard about Backpage from a friend. Friend told her to go check it out. Said, girl, you.
But see, at the same time, Backpage was like, it wasn't just man looking for woman. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't even the most popular section of the page. You know what I'm saying?
On Backpage?
Yeah. You had the homosexual section that was popular, like
for escorting or for
for the whole thing. Like shit, if you look in that section, it's more popping off than it is in that section than it is in man looking for woman. And it ain't no women looking for men unless it's discreet.
Well,
gentlemen.
here's the thing though, because this is what happened and is going to happen for Backpage, and this happened on Craigslist. Which is Craigslist used to have an adult section, which they had to remove. So now the adult ads have infiltrated into the the personals, where people are just supposed to be like, hey, looking for somebody to go get some coffee with. Now it's like, hey, how about some coffee and some dick?
Looking for older gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Nobody under 25.
And then you have the
discreet.
There's a whole culture.
Gentleman being the key word. You know what I'm saying? We call it Titty Bar, but it's actually the Gentleman's Club.
Gentleman's Club.
You know what I'm saying? So we're looking for gentlemen.
So it's just
and yes, our stream is down if you're listening on the TuneIn Radio app.
Okay.
They're doing some maintenance, so.
But we
are streaming live on the website for the video, if that's what you're looking for.
The audio is on.
Like if you listening from the TuneIn app,
it's
down.
good.
No, the video is up.
The video is up, so you can catch us on Ustream.
Yeah, or since 1974.
Or since 1974 radio.
/watch.
And then is the audio good on since 1974 radio, or does that come through TuneIn?
That's all.
That's all TuneIn.
Yeah, audio stream
sucks.
down.
Okay,
so
but
it's,
you can
it's
watch
our fault.
us.
Server's down. They doing some maintenance, and I didn't see the email. My bad.
But you can watch us.
Yeah, but you can watch us. And the replay will be
up. Cool.
Immediately.
Bet. That's what it is. Final thoughts on the whole Backpage thing. I don't like the censorship of free speech. I feel like that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. As far as the people, like them using it as a tool for law enforcement, I mean, I feel like, why wouldn't you want that as a tool for law enforcement? It's like Facebook. You know what I mean?
It's the same reason that Chris Hansen don't come on TV no more. You know what I'm saying? It's really entrapment for me, like you just said, for it to be a freedom of speech, and for me to be able to use this as a tool for me being a single, lonely man. You know what I'm saying? Maybe wanting to call, and not saying that I would be calling looking for no 14-year-old, but you know what I'm saying? She might be posing as a 23-year-old and looking 23. And I get that call, and it's like, come pick me up. And I come pick me up, and Chris Hansen jump out like, hey, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey. I was buying some books.
So, I think that the overall lesson for this is that it's not necessarily a bad thing, because we're going to start trending, okay, back towards having to actually have a face-to-face human conversation with somebody in order to get into bed with them. Because
I'm gonna withhold. I'm gonna withhold judgment on that with the whole, introduction to the public masses of this virtual reality thing.
Well, okay, let me ask you a question, because when I heard about this yesterday, I thought about this question, and it came up to me, and I'll ask you, and I'll see if you can come up with something. Okay, name one thing in the history of America, okay, that has been banned, that has gone away.
Oh, nothing.
Nothing, right?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? Nothing. It's
Right.
not possible.
Right.
You know, people.
That's just like you said with Craigslist. They banned Craigslist, but it's still there. You know what I'm saying? And you still, the same services are available. That's what's gonna happen with Backpage. They're just gonna make them clean it up a little bit, and then they'll be right back.
Bro, let me ask you a question. Did you know that there is a fence on the Mexico United States border?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
that's what you want to call it.
If that's what you want to call it, right? I mean, man, I don't know what the hell I was doing in 2006 when this was happening. Like, I was like just out of, I was like 20 years old.
Right.
I was just, I was like my first, second year of college. I had already changed my major like 3 times. Just starting to drink, hitting the bars, and I don't know what the fuck. But this, for some reason, I don't like really remember this. So I was watching a documentary the other day called The Fence, and it's taking like a satirical look at what happened, how it happened, where the fence is, what it looks like, is it effective or what? And basically, there was this is like not obviously not the start of it, but in its present current form of like this Mexican phobia, Mexicans crossing the border, doing all this other. This is like the boiling point of it, and they like really were like, it was coming up election season, and these motherfuckers signed in a bill saying, yes, okay, let's build a fence, okay? So the documentary shows like what actually happened when they built the fence, some of the things that they did. Like, they built the fence in some places going through like wildlife reserves. They had to repeal all these laws that were put into place for good reasons in order to put this dumbass fence up. That in some places it's like 5 feet in the ground and 5 feet below the ground. In some places it can get up to 20 feet, But the moral of the story is that the fence doesn't even go like from beginning to end. It starts and stops at different places, like that seem like for no reason.
Active.
Yeah, and you just look at it and you're like what is this supposed to do?
Right.
And then you start to get into some of the numbers, and it's like they've spent, and I forget when this came out, so they probably spent more on it since then. But at this time when it came out, they had spent $3 billion on building this wall that basically did nothing.
Right.
There was a guy that lived.
It just kicked the shit down the road. Like, instead of crossing at this popular checkpoint, new popular checkpoint is now 5 miles west, or 5 miles east.
Right. And I'm sure that there's, because this is what the government does.
That's the one thing about Donald Trump with the build a fence. It's almost virtually impossible to build a fence from bow to bow due to the terrain alone. Like,
the border between Mexico and Texas is the fucking river. It go like this. Like, how you gonna build a fence that go like that?
virtually impossible.
You can't do it.
And now you see he want us to pay for it. Talking about
Well,
Mexico gonna reimburse us.
I'm pretty decent at numbers, okay?
Mhm.
So if a fence, not a wall, but a fence that doesn't even cover the whole border costs $3 billion, what the hell is a wall?
Hold on.
Gonna
But,
cost?
okay, but now check this out. The Great Wall of China was built umpteen thousands of years ago for free.
Oh, wait now.
Okay, if it did cost some money, it didn't cost $3 billion.
No, I'm just. It
Get
was
some rocks and start piling them.
I'm pretty sure that was built with slave labor.
Hey, we got a lot of prisoners. I mean, put these niggas to work.
What would y'all? What would the world say? What? Not the world. Not the world. Let's forget about the world. What would America say if Donald Trump said, "Here's how we're gonna do this. We're going to get all these prisoners, and we're gonna bring them down to the border. Prisoners from Alabama, from Missouri, from Ohio.
I got you right
from
here. This is what they gonna say.
Yeah.
Right on, Donald Trump. That's what they gonna say.
He'll really have them out there chain
Damn
gang,
time.
chain gang, looking like Eddie and Martin with their pickaxes.
Make America great again. I gotta get me some Donald Trump sound bits. Obama's gone.
Obama.
He's out of there.
Oh my God.
Let's just run through them all.
Barack Hussein Obama?
This is President Barack Obama, and you're listening to MSC Radio Network.
Obama is a Mac Daddy.
What we gonna do?
Obama.
Obama is never.
Obama.
You can go visit him at his Chicago library, where he will be signing book tours. Might even shoot his, talk show from there.
We are going to get into the Obama legacy a little bit more later on. Maybe we'll talk about it a little bit with our guest who is here now. So we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to go get Mr. Moore and bring him on back. And when we come back on the Iron the DJ show, we will be with author Robert J. Moore here on Since1974Radio.com.
New chick alert. 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 I seen you when you stepped up in the club. I was chilling with my people sipping bud.
Never say I'm on it, but I'm watching. Got me watching. Miss Lady moving different and she popping. Everything about her is the bougie type. She tried to keep it cool, but she deserved the hype. I step up to her smooth and then I say hello. She quickly checked me head to toe and said, what's poppin', yo? New chick alert, new chick alert. New chick alert, new chick alert.
You good to go?
New chick alert.
Little bit of background.
Chick alert, new chick alert.
Rocco, baby.
Chick alert, new chick alert. New chick alert, new chick alert.
Nacho.
New chick alert, new chick alert, new chick alert. Her personality was quite refreshing. She had morals and respect, that was a blessing. The way she dancing, you could tell she had some thought in her. She in the mirror, booty popping, I ain't knocking her. Seen the bottles coming, then I dabbed on her. She said you turned to baby boy and I ain't mad at you. We popped the bottle when we got back on the dance floor. We got it lit, she dancing sexy and she showing off. Paparazzi watching, got they cameras ready. To video recorders cause we rockin' steady. Run a minute on that beat, run a minute on that beat. You might have came in with your family, but you coming home with me. Oh! New chick alert, new chick alert. 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 New chick alert, new chick alert.
Nacho.
You're listening to Since1974Radio.com, the Midwest best independent hip hop and R&B.
Check. Yo. As promised, y'all, we are back. I'm the DJ Show since 1974Radio.com. I have with me author, Mr. Robert J. Moore. Give it up for him, y'all. What's the name of your what would it, publishing? What would you call
Publishing company, Moore Writing Publishing, based out of Lorraine, off and up and running, making it happen.
No doubt, man. You are Lorraine, Ohio, born and raised?
Yep, born and raised. I was born in Elyria, but all my life I lived in Lorraine. Grew up on Chelsea Avenue. Shout out to Chelsea, but also stayed in Wilkes. I stayed in projects on 21st Street, Crehore, Massachusetts, Dirty 30, from everywhere.
You done spent some time in all the hoods. Damn.
I took all the classes before I graduated Lorraine.
But see, that's funny, man, because you obviously are an educated brother. You doing some very positive things with your life. So do you take some of the experiences that you got from all those different places and put them into your art?
Oh, definitely. One of the biggest things, especially whether it's in writing or 95, is who you know and how you navigate through people with different personalities. And growing up on Chelsea and in different hoods in Lorraine, you got to be able to navigate personalities where if this person comes through, how do you treat them? Well, you treat everybody with respect, but there's some people you can joke with, clown with. There's some people that you can't, that you don't really know that well. You got to be able to read people. So I take those skills and I move it over into the book world and then even into the business world.
I found that my experiences in Lorraine City Schools and just in Lorraine growing up with all the diversity has given me like a tremendous advantage in the real world situations and all my employment situations, because when you're at the job, you deal with all types of people, like you were just saying. And when you already have that experience of growing up and dealing with, this type of person, that type of person that come from all these different backgrounds, you got a leg up on somebody that's only spent, their whole life, you know, around this type of person with this type of salary income background, and it's like that's all they know, and then they have such a closed vision of the world.
Yeah, and in fact, I've seen it where I've been in meetings and it's me and there's another brother who's probably in charge, and then somebody who may come from a country lifestyle background. They'll say something to the brother, and I'm like, that's not what you say to brothers. No. And that person kind of give the look like, did he just say that to me? He is not getting this job. And I'm like, see, if you had some friends from other than where you grew up, you would know what to say and how to navigate through things.
Yep. And that's something that, I think that Lorain suffers a lot from like a brain drain, because people take these great skills that are honed in Lorain and they're plucked out of here, you know, because other places and other people in other places identify as individuals as like highly talented, diverse, skilled individuals, and they want them for where they're at. And then, you know, we end up with being kind of depleted of some of our best and brightest, you know. So it's kind of hard to combat that. What do you think that we can kind of do about that?
Man, you know, the funny thing that you think of when you mentioned that was in my 9 to 5, I'm IT. So we got to improvise. People come with problems at last minute and says, you know, we need to get this working. We need to have this done. And sometimes I got to improvise. And then growing up in Lorain, when you're not working with as much, sometimes you got to improvise. Sometimes you got to improvise that meal.
Yeah.
So I take those improvisational skills and I put it in my 9 to 5. And it's that kind of thing that you get that from the Lorain, that spontaneity, that creativity. And a lot of businesses got to realize that there's a lot of people here that have those skills. So, you know, if I'm a business and I need dynamic people to do multitasking and multiple things, maybe I want to get with Lorain City Schools and say, okay, for these kids to work in my business, these are the skills. They already got these soft skills. They already got the improvisational skills. They just need these business skills, or they need this skill set. And maybe work with the schools to kind of get those people to stay, you know, in the county.
Right.
And, you know, and also have people like you that are starting to make their own way. Where if you don't have an opportunity, maybe you take those skills you learn from here and you start your own thing.
Yes. That would be amazing. And I see some things like that starting to happen. I'm starting to see some different organizations and more people, you know, I said like us that are doing something and trying to give back and show younger people that, you know, you can do things and still be here and still expand, and, you know, just to think bigger than a lot of people are kind of systematically trained to, you know, to keep themselves in this tiny box and not think that they can make it outside. And another thing is, I think, affects some people is that they don't have anybody directly in their life that they can look to and say, this is possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you have somebody or some people in your life that were doing like things to where you saw that it was possible for you to do what you're doing?
Most definitely. First, from my family, my father was around and he was a hard working man, and he instilled hard work in me. My grandfather, Ellis Thomas, who some of y'all may know him, he owned Thomas's Dairy on the east side on Euclid Avenue. They called it the Dairy Dip.
Okay.
And then if you're from Elyria, he owned Mr. T's restaurant, Middle Avenue. He would take me with him to when he would open the restaurants, especially in the summertime. So what I would do is I would work there. And then if him and my uncle need to make a run, I was the manager. So I'm 10 years old, flipping burgers, making change,
yes, sir,
running the place. And so I had people in my family, even people who was doing dirt, who really wasn't doing right.
Right.
They would kind of say, hey, don't do what I'm doing. Aspire to be something better. You see what I'm doing over here, don't do that. And then, you know, what I did is in school, I was involved in things. And at an early age, I recognized that I needed to have people in my corner. So, you know, I clowned with the boys and did certain things, but I didn't go too far on the bad side. And I made sure I had a good reputation with the teachers and stuff. And that carried over afterwards to where Dr. Church, who was at LCC, kind of took me under his wing. There was a gentleman by the name of Bernie Greenberg. He was, you know, he was an elite businessman in the area, and he saw me at a really young age, took me under his wing, and those guys kind of guided me. So I had guys from the hood that was telling me, hey, this is, you know, we see what you're trying to do. We're proud of you. Stay out of trouble. Stay on this lane. And then I had people from the business side that said, you got potential, and we want to help foster that.
Let me ask you a question, because this is something that I felt like I experienced personally. When I was younger, I felt like I had more people like those people you mentioned who would kind of, take me under their wing. Sometimes it might be a white guy. Sometimes it might be another black guy or somebody else of color. But then as I got older, professionally, as I became more accomplished, it seemed like I had less people trying to help me reach that potential. Is that something that you've experienced?
Definitely, because the people who they had me under their wing on the professional side, they retired, they passed away, they kind of moved on, and then suddenly people in my profession started seeing me as competition.
Yeah.
To where they're like, man, I don't want this dude to take my spot, so I'm gonna try and hold him down. I'm not gonna share any information with him, and I even had to kind of navigate through that to where I was able to kind of make my own way or take the lessons I already learned and survive almost to keep that spot. And then on the same thing from a personal level in my life, there's some guys who kind of held it down on the street side that either went away, passed away, something happened to where now I see that void to where in the streets, there's not enough people that are saying, there's more to it than these 4 blocks that you live on. There's different things that you can do, and you can really do anything that you want to do. And I think there's people like you, there's CD Dre, there's Imam Paul Hassan, there's people out there who are starting to reach out to the youth and say, look, there's other things, and also getting them involved where there's been leaders who said, you know what, we want you to do this part of the organization. I'm learning from them and kind of aspiring to grow more. So I think that leadership is coming back on the Lorraine level. But yeah, professionally, people see you as competition.
Definitely.
And trying to kill that before it even starts.
I know, like I've been trying to work my way up here since 1974, and Ty just, when I first came, he was just like, yeah, Dez, I'm gonna show you this and show you, but
you find love on a two-way street. 'Cause I've been over at Lifestyle Studios trying to press up some T-shirts. Won't let me get back there behind that press at all.
I said, hold on, man. That's a little bit too much info.
No, but I think, you know what I'm saying, like you say, when we was younger, we all had them mentors and everything. But as you grow older, not just competition, but you have to grow into that mentor role as well. You know what I'm saying?
Doubt.
And just like, you always had that uncle. Now we that uncle. You know what I'm saying? So,
true.
And you had the young kids look up to you like that too. The young kids look at you like, man, especially me, because you know what I'm saying, as old as I am, I'm still young at heart. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times they see me and they be like, they think that, I'm they homie, like, and then they get the gist, like, wait a minute, this Unc, like, hold on a second, you know what I'm saying? He got way much more wisdom again, and then, it's like, Unc, what you out here doing? What you listening to 21 Savage? You know what I'm saying? I'm staying hip. I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm keeping myself young, so you won't be able to throw that slang over me and, it just fly over my head and I not know what you said. I know what you said, little fucker.
That made me think about something, because I think that we're all 3 of us are people who, come from backgrounds that are like in the streets, you know what I mean? But we might have actually been in the streets in varying degrees, but we all like made it out, got educated, entered professional realms, and then, but it's like you still trying to navigate and keep your connection, with where you came from. But I just feel like you get to a certain level, and people that are still there, they don't really care sometimes if you came from there, if you're not there now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, how have you gone about trying to make sure that people, in the hoods of where you came from know about your books, and that, they're like, they come from here. This is the origin of these stories.
One thing you touched on, and you talked about people who are still in it, who don't care about where you're at, where you're trying to go. Man, Facebook, there's people who will look at my profile picture and they see me as one way. They think I'm from Westlake or somewhere.
Right.
And they test me on Facebook. They're like, And in my mind, I'm thinking like, let's meet up at Dairy Mart. Let's see what's up. And I'm like, I can't do it. And then you just use that block feature. But it's like, man, about once a year, there's some dude out there that'll try and test me.
Right.
That'll message me like, man. And I'm like, boy.
Right.
You gotta ignore that. And
Chelsea,
just
boy. you let him know.
But one of the things I do to kind of let people know about my books and kind of keep that touch with people is one, my books have a lot of Lorraine in them. Where my last one, Listen to My Kaleidoscope, there's most of the characters are people from Lorraine. And the book that's coming out this year is stories about people from Lorraine, places about people from Lorraine. So when you read my books, there's a few things that's gonna make you think about Lorraine.
Right.
And not only that, but I go out and talk to people, and I tell this to authors all the time: is you can't just sit behind a keyboard and post and blog, and you got to get out. And even if it means you go to events and there's only 3 people there, you got to get out and let people see your face and talk to them, and let them know where you're coming from and that you're speaking from the heart. And then people know that you're genuine. And I think if you're genuine, people will respond to that. And I tell you what, Lorraine has supported. I can't say that the people haven't supported my books and me in writing.
I was going to ask you about that because there is like a local Lorraine authors community group kind of that you guys kind of meet and talk to each other and work together, and there's kind of like some shared artistry between that. I think there's a lot of people that might not think something like that happens here.
Yeah, we have an organization called the International Writers Association. We have a website and a Facebook page, and we started off with 3 or 4 people in a room. And that was like that for about 3 or 4 years, where nothing was really popping with the group. But now we have a huge successful conference every year, a writers conference that we have in Amherst every year. We have authors from all over the world, from India, Asia, Africa, all over. That's a part of our organization. We have a successful podcast with 10,000 weekly listeners. We do a lot to support the community. Kelly Boyer Sagert, she wrote a play that ended up being on PBS, and it's shown nationwide. So it's a big group that's doing big things in it. It started from really just an idea, and then off of that, in Lorraine, on every 4th Saturday at the Lorraine Public Library on the south side, we have a youth literary club where kids from all over, if you can make it, you're invited, where we sit, we talk about books, they do book reports, they get prizes for the books they read. We discuss what it means in our life. We talk about reading and helping kids with their reading level. We talk to them about how important it is, where they look at 3rd grade reading levels, and based on those levels, that's where they decide where they're going to build their prisons. So they're betting on you not to be literate. Right. So we teach kids, not only is it fun, is it cool, but you can kind of relate to some of the stories. 2 stories that I relate to is, one is The Diary of Anne Frank. And when I didn't know anything about World War II or anything when I first got her book, but when I said, man, this girl on the cover is kind of cute, I want to know more about her. So I started reading about her story, and they were hiding in an attic, and at the time, we were homeless, and we were living in somebody's rat-infested attic. And I didn't want my friends or anybody to know that we were living up there, so I'm reading this girl about living in this attic, and we're living in an attic, and I could relate to it. And another big thing that kind of got to me was Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. It's from the 1800s. It's in a different country. It's in a totally different lifestyle. But as I started reading that story, I started to realize that it's about a kid who's living in the hood, who's trying to get out, and that there's finer things in life. And I'm reading this story, and I'm like, wow, this is what was in my head all along. And his uncle had just got out of prison, and my uncle had just got out of prison, and I'm relating to this character. Not only that, but in that story, he makes it out the hood, gets money, doesn't know how to manage that money, blows it all, and is trying to front like he still got it. And I'm reading it like, man, that can be me if I don't watch out. So these old classic stories, I'm relating to it as a young black male in modern society, and I'm kind of passing that on to those kids. Like, there are stories and there's books out there that can change your life and make you think about things in a different way.
When did you fall in love with books?
Oh, man. Well, one, I started writing. I fell in love in 2nd grade, and I fell in love with my 2nd grade teacher, Mrs. Dovin, at Homewood Elementary School. Now, at Valentine's Day, I picked some flowers from the park, got the flowers for her. I copped her the Smurf chain, not the regular Smurf chain,
Right.
but the gold circle $30 Papa Smurf chain. So I was trying to stun on her, and she ended up turning Miss Dovin. She turned me down because I was a class clown, and
or because you was 5 or
yeah, that's
7,
true. Like,
right?
I was wondering, like, why she turned me down, man? I could write my name in cursive. I colored inside the lines. She didn't know what she was doing.
Now you know, if you went to school today,
Oh yeah, she.
you
Be
might
a little different.
you might have had a shot.
I would have been a dad by the age of 10. But so she turned me down, and I watched this movie about this guy who got into poetry to get over his broken heart. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna do that. So I started writing poetry, and then some high school kids at AK realized I was writing poems, and they would give me a description of a girl, and then I would write a poem based on that, and they would sell it and give me a couple dollars
That's dope.
for it. So
That's-
and then my teacher started realizing that I had a gift of writing. So they put me on the writing team. Mr. Stewart at Whittier got me into competitions. I'm winning first place in these national and world competitions, and I didn't take it seriously. I was like, girls, basketball, that's what I'm worried about. And even through college, they're like, you should think about writing. And I said, no, that's not my thing. And then I got stricken with this disease that almost left me bedridden. And I wasn't doing anything, so I prayed about it, and I picked up my laptop. I started writing, and a line became a paragraph, and that's how my first novel was picked up. And then later I got on with the International Writers Association. But then also what got me into reading was growing up, in extreme poverty in Lorraine. I would go to the public library because that was place one that was peace. There was no violence.
Oh, yeah.
There was no drugs. There was, you as a kid, you sometimes you just want peace.
Oh, and not to interrupt you or nothing, but as a kid in Lorraine, there's not a lot of things to do. Period. Okay, then it's something that you can do that's free.
Yep.
In the winter time. There might not be heat in your house. The library is warm. I can remember a lot of days going to the library to kind of escape.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep. If the water's turned off, get
they got water.
And, yeah.
That was the old days too, y'all. Nowadays, libraries like Blockbuster, they rent DVDs. You'll get in a fight at the library. Fight over a DVD. No, I'm just putting.
But yeah, it was like a sanctuary, and I would walk miles just to get there, and that got me really into reading. So being in it young and people recognizing the gift for writing, that kind of got me pointed in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Did you when you started? Or let me ask you this: when did you become aware of the rich history in Lorraine of literature?
That's a funny thing because Lorraine needs to do a better job of promoting the people that they got now and the people from the past, because really Toni Morrison, to keep it real, I didn't know about her until probably high school.
Mm-hmm.
And people from Lorraine didn't tell me about her. I'm taking, all these buildings, these school buildings in the past were named after these famous writers, but none from Toni Morrison.
Right.
I didn't find out about Toni Morrison until I started talking about people from Oberlin. They told me about Toni Morrison. Helen Steiner Rice, I didn't know who she was. My friends in Australia knew who she was. My friends in Japan knew who she was. I didn't find out about Helen Steiner Rice until 2005, 06, and she's world famous. She left Lorraine $8 million to help the city, and they didn't do anything. There's a school that's named after her. They were going to name it after somebody that I think wasn't even from here. And the International Writers Association stepped in and said, yo, wait a minute. We got this world famous writer. We should have something named after her. There's nothing in this town. She's buried in Lorraine.
And she really left, through her estate, she left that much money to a specific organization here or something?
It was, I think she gave it directly to the city. Dr. Hilaire Taverner, who's the president of the International Writers Association, she knows all about her history and written about her. But other than that, there was nothing here, telling us what she left us, what she did for the city, her story, which is really inspirational to women.
Well, again, not to interrupt you, but I feel like that can be said for a lot of Lorraine's heroes, not just in literature, but for instance, like I went to Lorraine Admiral King, and for the whole time I went there, all 4 years, I really had no idea how significant Admiral King was to the World War II war effort for the American side. And I mean, social studies was my favorite subject. And none of my teachers, because some, and I mean, whether you're talking about world history, it's relevant. You're talking about U.S. government, it's relevant. No matter what type of civics it is relevant. And we're in the school named after this guy, and it should really be imprinted into everybody's head just how important he was, because then it gives you a sense of pride and value. And then when you're wearing that king across your chest and it says admirals and stuff, it gives you just that little bit of extra understanding of what that actually means,
Yeah, and I was watching the History Channel, and they had these old black and white videos, and they showed these guys strategizing and planning around a table, and there was on the nameplate there was Admiral King, and I'm like, that's what he looks. That's the guy from Lorraine at the high school. I didn't know what he looked like.
Right.
And I'm seeing this on History Channel. I'm like, wow, I get it now. They walked the same streets, ate the same food that we did, and dealt with the same things. That once you think about it like that, it's crazy.
It's kind of like what we were talking about before, like having people in your family, like you said, your grandfather, that you are seeing, knowing like, hey, this is me. I can do that too. When you start to realize that world famous people who have won Nobel Prizes and accomplished, like the greatest achievements. These are some of the greatest humans ever in history in their fields. They're from right here.
Yep. And a lot of times people think, I'm stuck here in Lorraine. I can't get out. There's nothing I can do. I can't reach any level past the certain point. Other people have done it, and we got to share those stories more with people.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do need to do a better job of sharing those stories with people. Talk to me about your first book that you wrote.
First book, that was the one where I was pretty much bedridden. I said, I want to get something out there just to kind of get my feet wet. And that one is called Till Death Do Us Part. It's a novel. It's about a woman who dies in a plane crash with her husband. When she gets to heaven, she goes looking for him, only to find out her first husband's been waiting on her. So who did she spend eternity with? They don't know about each other. Her first husband was great. He was murdered. And for him, he only wanted to spend eternity with her. So when you get married, you think, okay, I'm going to spend eternity with this woman.
Yeah.
If something happens to you, and she was young, and people didn't expect her to be alone forever, so she found somebody else who was only married to her, and he's thinking, when I get to heaven, I'm going to spend eternity with my wife. So you got these two guys. They love this one woman. They're in heaven. Even though it's in heaven, there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes down.
Happens. Yeah.
A lot of twists, a lot of turns, and then there's a shocking ending to it. So it's I get about a couple emails a week of people saying, I can't believe this ending. I didn't see that coming. This is crazy, and it gets them their taste wet.
So where are people coming across your book? Because tell me first of all, like all the places where your book is and how people are finding it.
You can get it from my website, morewriting.com. That's the number one place that people are getting it. But you can get it from Amazon. You can get it from Kobo, iBooks, anywhere where they sell books. If they don't have it, you can take the ISBN number and you can order it. The majority of the sales are coming from online. A lot of online businesses. But also, I've been on my grind. I've been out at the IX Center in Cleveland. Every Christmas Connection, me and other authors, we've been out there selling books, craft shows. I've posted up on the corner a couple of times, and so that way I've gone to different parties. I've gone to Big Beautiful Women parties and sold books there. Anywhere where I have an opportunity or a platform to sell, I'll post up and sell straight from there.
What's the place that surprised you the most when you got the online notification that you got to sell, where it was from?
Oh man, my first book I couldn't really get out because I was going through health issues. I couldn't get out and really grind and meet people. I had to do a lot of stuff online. So around locally, I didn't get a chance to sell a lot of books, but I was getting books from Israel, from Egypt, from Japan. Just having that online presence generated those sales. And then locally, I got to give a shout out to some people that really put me on locally. The Charleston Coffee House, they would have open mic nights. I did spoken word, different appearances like that gave me the opportunity. So shout out to Dre Judson, shout out to Roberta Rosa,
DJ Roro,
Didi Marrero. even the Lorraine Arts Council, the Illyria Arts Council, they would have events and they would always invite me, even though it seemed like I was they had a Latino book night and they invited me there and I said, hey, I'll be there. But they helped put me on and that let people in the area know that I'm in books. So internationally, things have been good. I've been blessed. And then Lorraine has held me down.
I want to kind of get off topic a little bit, but kind of still on the same topic because I don't know about you too much personally, but from your Facebook page I do know that you are a pretty international guy. Talk to me about how you met your wife.
Oh man, that's a funny story because back in the day I wanted to learn Mandarin and
Hey, wait a minute. Didn't we have this conversation a couple weeks ago?
Somebody else's?
We gonna learn Mandarin when?
I think we might have been discussing that.
Mandarin, okay.
I
might have found a teacher.
I wanted to learn Mandarin, but China I wasn't really interested in China, and I started watching this TV show, and I was like, man, this show is funny as hell, but it's not from China, I can tell. So I found out it's from Taiwan. So I said, okay, I want to know more about Taiwan. So I got on Skype, looked for everybody that was from Taiwan. And this woman said, if you help me with my English, I'll help you with your Mandarin. I'm like, cool. So for 3 months, we're going back and forth. And she says to me, what's the weather like in Taiwan? And I'm like, I'm in America. Your status says you're from Taiwan. And she says, no, I'm in America. And she says, what state are you from? I'm like, Ohio. And she says, oh, I'm in Ohio. And I said, what city? She says, Ashland. I'm like, I'm an hour away from you. All this time we thought we were around the world. But we started feeling a funny way because I'm like, this is identity theft. And then she was thinking like, this is some kind of creeper trying to get on.
Right.
So we really didn't talk about meeting it. And one day she said, Ohio is boring. And I'm like, man, Ohio ain't boring. You just got to have a car to go around. And I said, it's your birthday. Let me come pick you up. Your roommates will go out. So I picked her and the roommates. We went out to eat, went and hit the clubs up. And I started meeting more of the students down in Ashland to where we all became a crew. So if I would go to the club, I had like 50 Taiwanese women with me. I'm rolling into the club, and people thought I was like pimping or something. And it wasn't the case because they was like my sisters. But what they would do is women would see me with all these international women. They're like, what's up with him? So they would bring girls over to me. So we ended up becoming a big family. And then when they graduated, they went back to Taiwan. I go back and visit. But the woman who ended up being my wife, she had come back to America. She was an Ashland student, but we didn't know her. And she went to visit these people down in Ashland. And those same people were trying to get me to get down there to talk about my books. So when I get down there was like this tall, blonde Scandinavian woman that they wanted to fix me up with. And at the time, I'm like, I'm kind of cool. I'm trying to get fixed up. I'll find somebody on my own. So to get away from that woman, I saw this girl sitting by herself, and I said, I'm gonna use her as an excuse to get away from this woman. So I sat with her, and it seemed like she had there was a problem. Something was on her mind, and she wouldn't tell me what her problem was. And I'm like, I'm the guy that everybody goes to with their problems, and I'm a problem solver. So I said, I'm gonna stay in touch, and I'm gonna keep getting to know her until I find out what her problem was. So we started hanging out and everything, and we started thinking like maybe this could be something. So I told her, I said, you should come stay with me and Lorraine for a few days, and then we get to know each other. And then she thought that meant like come slide through and we can hook up, Netflix and chill, and that's that. So she said, of course not. And I thought she was just turning me down. So I said, okay, cool, we'll just be friends. I told that to a mutual friend of mine, and then I never brought it up. So she thought that I meant, well, since I can't get any, then that's that. So she's like, man, I thought he was a nice guy. So she kept bringing it up. And I'm like, why is she bringing up about dating and stuff when she already told me no?
Right.
So this started building until we had this big fight, like, oh, you can't get none because you thought this and that. And I'm like, well, you turned me down, but you still, like, what's going on? And so finally I told her, I was like, I didn't mean, like, to come through and stay the night. I got a spare bedroom. We just got to get to know each other. So we got to know each other. I went to Kentucky and met some of her friends, got their approval. Then we got married. Went to Taiwan, dealt with the in-laws, that whole thing that can be a funny movie.
Oh, yeah.
Finally got their approval, and it was popping from there.
That's awesome, man. I catch some of your pictures and stuff on social media, and it's just like, man, that's cool. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know anybody else that is in that kind of situation. You know, I got a cousin. His wife is from Russia, I believe. But that's awesome, man.
And the funny thing is especially being a black person going to a country where there's not a whole lot of black people. One, I'm gonna keep it real. When I got there were white people who would get there and they're automatically the king of the country because they look different. Movies and TVs portray white people as being the heroes. So they get there and they already got like God status. And all of a sudden, black people start showing up, and they don't want to lose that position. I'm not talking about all of them, but in general, some people are saying, I'm the man, but here come the brothers over. I don't want to lose my status. So they start talking down about us before we even get there. So I get there, and already I'm dealing with black people are thugs. They rob, they steal, and I had to kind of represent everybody when I got there.
Right.
And one of the things I told the people that were there was, that's TV and music. And especially like old shows, that's the only opportunities that African Americans had in movie and television was being, the thug
gangster.
or the robber.
Yeah.
And then I threw it back to him. I'm like, well, what are Asian men doing on movies and TVs? Fighting. For no reason, just to fight the fight.
Everyone.
And I tell them, I say,
something you just said that a lot of folks should live by. You just said I had to represent for all of us. If we all carried ourselves like that, and thought like that, this ain't just me, but this is a representation of all of us. It'll be a better world, man.
Yeah,
For real, this would be a lot better place to live because everybody would. But we can't get everybody to think like that. We got some knuckleheads out here.
Just a few. We right before you came in, we were about to start discussing President Obama's legacy. We were talking about the speech last night. Did you watch the farewell speech last night?
Yeah.
What did you think about the speech as a person who is in the profession of stringing together words in nice, in nice combinations to make people feel a certain type of way? How did you feel about his ability to do that last night?
He's always a great speaker. One of the things that I liked about last night's speech was he spoke from the heart. It felt like it was from the heart. When he shouted out his wife and the people that were around him, that was a big moment because it showed you honor your wife at all times. Honor your significant other. One, it scores you points, scores you mad points.
No doubt.
But it was good to see a personal side of that. And speaking about Obama overall, when I was a kid, I always thought I wanted to be president of the United States, but no one had to tell me this, but it was just kind of in the air that black people can't be president. It's like just growing up in the 80s, I'm trying to think of the heroes that were on TV. I had Shaka Zulu, and I had there was Shaka Zulu,
Mr. T.
And and even with Mr.
B.A.
T,
Baracus.
yeah, he was like the side character. He wasn't even Crockett and Tubbs. That wasn't an even thing. But there was Shaka Zulu, and then there was the Last Dragon, Bruce Leroy. Those were the two that were the main stars. Other than that, there wasn't really. So I gave up my whole idea of politics as a young kid because I thought I'm only going to get so far. I can't be the president. And to see an African American be president, it lets kids who might be 10 years old now say, I can aspire to be that.
Right.
So just what he represents is amazing.
I thought that will be his overwhelming legacy. You know what I mean? And I really think that it's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? And regardless of who the first black president was, if you did a good job, that was going to be your lasting legacies because you're Jackie Robinson. You know what I mean? Now, Jackie Robinson had a great professional baseball career. You know what I'm saying? I think the jury, for a lot of people that actually follow the facts and specifics, I think a lot of, especially black folks, okay, and a lot of liberal folks are just saying, Obama, great job. You know what I mean? Awesome job. You loved your wife. They talk about all these things that don't have anything to do with the actual state of the country. You know what I mean? They talk about him as a person, his character, never in question. You know what I mean? If you mean, when you say that he was the best president ever, by that you mean he's the president that you would most likely like to have over for dinner or something, like cool, I understand that, you know. But when you start to talk about, you know, the state of economics in the country as it was when he took place, as it is now, and then when you start to talk about the specific things that you as a voter may have wanted to hope to see from him during his 8 years in the term. And I know me personally, as somebody that voted for him in 2008 and did not vote again in 2012, left a few things to be desired. You know, I think as the first black president, a lot of us wanted him to go out there in the sweatsuit and, you know, and he gave us some of that, you know, he sprinkled some of it in as much as he could, you know, because obviously he's going to be handcuffed and he's not going to be able to do that, right?
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
But I feel like the aftermath now, the post presidency Obama is really going to tell us who this guy is. You know, when you no longer have those presidential handcuffs on you, and you can start speaking your mind, okay, and saying those things, and you ain't got to worry about getting this bill passed or this or that or other, and you can just be the God that we all want you to be and to use that power and influence. I think then we'll see who he really is and what he's really trying to do, you know?
You and I were thinking exactly the same thing, because I was thinking that watching the speech last night too is, for me, being an optimist, I think this isn't the end of Obama that we're going to see. And now that he doesn't have to worry about being so PC and making sure everybody's happy and he can really focus on certain things, now this is where I want to see.
Yeah.
Especially because he still has that cachet of being president. He can put some oomph behind some of the civil rights work that he can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel it too, because like at my 9 to 5, I work in Oberlin, which is closer to the Wellington side of things. So I can be out and I can do things in the community, but I got to watch how I do it. I can't be too aggressive or they'll say, we got to get this dude out of here. And then,
Right.
and then there goes me representing and kind of having a foot in the door on that side of the county. So, you know, if I was almost say where I was at a point to where I could be 100% author, you would see more of an aggressive civil person from me. But knowing that I got to pay the mortgage and everything, I got to kind of do things in a certain way. But going back to Obama, I think now that the shackles are off, I hope to see him be more aggressive.
We'll get to see the real. What do you think, Ty?
Obama is, like you say, he's going to be better out of office than he was in office. I think a lot of the stuff that he did politically is going to be erased over the next 4 years, maybe possibly 8 years. A lot of his laws that he had passed, they're going to reverse.
Yeah, I think they already voted to repeal Obamacare.
Yeah, they finna do a lot of erasing of the work that he did over the next couple of years.
And I just think I'm kind of cynical against the two-party system, the American government, because I just can't get down with this system to where these people who are supposed to be, they're like Republicans and Democrats are only on the same team when they're against each other, but then when elections are over, they're bickering amongst themselves because they're fighting their own elections. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I can't trust that. If 1 second you're telling me, let's use Bernie and Hillary as an example. Like, okay, we don't like Hillary, we like Bernie, like for all these different reasons. Then she wins the nomination, and so now it's like, okay, I just said I didn't like her, but now you're telling me I'm supposed to like her now just because she's blue?
Right. Yeah.
Like.
And I think that's what hurt Hillary, because back in the day when it was the primary against Obama, she went hard at Obama. And, she was winning that race until she started going hard against Obama. And that's when that shift turned where you saw kind of a
evilness.
Yeah, evilness. And I don't think people really
Never
let that go. They're
right.
like,
An evil woman? Hell no.
Yep.
You gonna have to be a fairy type woman or something, you know, floating around in a little
we
princess
cannot have
gown
no-
on, like ding. Tinkleberry, what's her name? From Neverland.
Tinkerbell.
Yeah, well, she gonna do. That's gonna, you know, if you want a woman president, it's gonna be. You can't have no evil woman president. You know, that put us in one state. You know, all the men y'all go here. So we had to be careful. You know, it was stories like that. It was TV shows like that growing up, where you know a woman in power would, you know, put us all on an island, and that shit might be real, man. I don't know.
Might be coming back to it.
Man, you know that stretch, that once a month stretch, not to, you know, that stretch come around. All men to Utah.
Ty, you're gonna be wishing that their back page was still up after that, right?
Hey, man,
You know?
hey, I just tell the truth. And they know that they have issues to deal with once a month. That they're not the most friendliest creatures on the earth when that time comes around. I mean, if they can't accept that within themselves, then I mean,
Rob, you
want to
step in and save him?
I'm gonna step into it or I'm gonna step out of it. When I was a kid, I always liked older women. Second grade teacher, and when I saw Hillary, I'm like, oh, Hillary, okay. And then when Bill did what he did when I was a kid, I said, someday when Hillary's president, I'm gonna help her get her revenge. I'm gonna have my beret. I'm gonna have my blue suit on. I'm gonna be an intern in the White House. I'm like, Hillary, it's time. You know what I'm here for. Anything you want. And so when she was running, I'm like, see, she got to run while I'm married.
Right.
I ain't going to get permission over that.
I'm conflicted now. Robert J. Lewinsky, y'all.
I was ready, and I wasn't going to tell nobody. I wasn't snitching at all. I'm washing my clothes. I'm going to make sure it's dry clean.
He
There's
said
no
I
evidence.
wasn't going to tell nobody.
Linda Tripp would have been like, what y'all do? I'm like, no, I can't tell you. No.
Ain't telling nobody.
You gonna have the keys to the pantsuits.
Hit it with the pops.
Bill like, why he always here? Nothing. Fixing her computer.
It's the new IT guy.
Boy.
That is too funny, man.
You right. We did go down a different road. Thanks, Robert.
Right. Step right into it. Sometimes on I Am the DJ show, when I have my guests, I like to do a little word association game with them. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to give you some random words, and I want you to tell me or just give me like the first thing that comes to your mind. It can be more than one word. It can be a sentence. If you want to tell a story, if it triggers something in your head, you want to tell a story, feel free, go ahead.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Memories.
Lorraine. Growing up, it was hard times, but there was a lot of good memories, a lot of lessons that I still got in life, and there's certain stories that I can name with people, family, with people from Chelsea, that when we even start talking about that stuff, it's a good time. So memories is Lorraine. Pizza, Rosie's. Now I know it's some drama in Lorraine about who got the best pizza.
Yes,
but I'm rolling with Rosie's.
Rosie's?
I'm going with Rosie's.
Who would you be second? Who would your second be?
Man, see,
Lorraine
I'm a
pizza.
South Side guy, so I'm gonna go with Giovanni's. The reason why Giovanni's isn't first is because it's nice when it's hot. Man, you let that thing sit and get cold.
It's gonna rock
you
up
got
on
a
you.
brick. Somebody brick in your house, you can take a Giovanni's.
Was I talking
pizza.
to you about the Giovanni's or
No,
that
I
was-
mean, you know, I'm completely lost because, you know, I'm an outsider. I'm not from Lorraine. So,
Right,
you know,
right.
it's Seleni's. Like,
You can't go wrong with that.
You
That's
can't
a
go
good
wrong
one.
with Seleni's.
That's
Yeah,
a good one.
that's one thing that Lorraine does have. It does have a very nice what would I call that, assortment of mom and pop pizza shops. You know, places that don't deliver. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's the bad thing about it.
some of them they just now getting their credit card machine. You know. So shout out to the Lorraine pizza scene. It's definitely popping. Dog.
Chase. How many times I've been walking through Lorraine and a loose dog roll up on me. In Chelsea, we had a gang of dogs when I was a little kid that terrorized the neighborhood. We would get got for our lunch. We would walk, and there was a dog named Boston that would limp, kind of with a little limp. He'd run up on us and like, what y'all got on my lunch? And we would just hand over our lunch. Like, we got robbed by some damn dogs. So, yeah, robberies.
That's too funny. Water.
Water. Jacked. Water department. Y'all got to do better. We all got to do better. But the water department, if you work for the water department, you know what I'm talking about. There's the Robert Moore rule in Lorraine, where if you own your place, you got to have the water in your name because there was a problem. There was a water leak in a place I was living at, and the people who owned it was fighting with the water department, and I had like a $1,700 water bill in my name, and I said, well, I'm going to just move then, and that water bill is going to follow me. So I told him, I was like, so I'm going to have to move out of Lorraine, and like, yeah. I'm like, y'all tripping. I got it worked out, but the water department, they had a thing where this summer, they updated their computer system. So
Right.
I had paid my bill, but they didn't get the payment in time because of their updated system. So they came in the middle of the night and shut my water off, even though it was their fault. I took a shower at night, went to get up to wash my teeth, like, why ain't the water working? So I had to take a day off, go there. Then they put all these fees, like, it was like, I had to pay like $400. I didn't even owe near that much. And they turned the water on, and you know how I knew it was their fault? Because I started getting credits on my bill where I didn't pay a bill for like 3 months. But man, water department.
He said the Robert Moore rule.
Robert Moore rule.
But you know, I know what he's talking about, man. Cause
They kind of shady at the water department.
They are. They another
Yeah.
water department policy that I can't stand, especially in 2017, is when they shut your water off and you go and pay it to get it turned back on. They say to you, "Okay, well, our guy, he's gonna come back through. What time is he coming through? We don't know. Can he call before he comes? No. Okay, so what if I'm not there when they come? It's a $50 fee to come back out. What?
Yep.
Huh? This
Yep.
Go
2000,
sit your ass still till he get there.
and that's what you go and do.
Or
Because
leave your
you
door
need that
open and
water.
cut your. See what you
And
just
then,
say?
and
This
then you gotta have
2017.
then you gotta have somebody there
Yeah.
that's 18 and over.
Oh man,
Yep.
it's fucked up.
Yeah.
If you owe $15 on your water bill and you get paid on like Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in the middle of the night, have a flashlight and go check like every hour because they will come in the middle of the night and they will shut you down and you will wake up with no water.
No water.
Well, y'all still blessed. You could have water that you could not use.
That's true.
Amen, amen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Shouts out to the Flint City.
Amen. Computers.
Computers, bread and butter. Before growing up in high school, I really didn't think about computers because it didn't affect my day-to-day life. I didn't really pay attention to it. And then they put me in the tech prep program mostly because they just needed kids to get into the program. I took it. First year, I thought I didn't learn anything. Second year, we entered this competition, took second place in state. And because I'm so competitive, I said I'm coming back for my senior year to win state. Didn't win state, but I got to shadow other people at businesses. There was a guy named Ed Madden who was at Poly One, a brother, who let me shadow him and work with him. Then I learned, I said, you know, it's not glasses and pocket protectors what I thought it was.
Right.
It's dealing with people, working with people. And then the salary, I said, you know what? This is my ticket to a normal life. Not even just to get out of the hood, just to live normal. And I said, this is something I can do. So computers, technology, that's the bread and butter. That's how I pay the bills, at least for now, until, God willing, I blow up as an author. But that's holding me down right now.
Got to get that Oprah book
Yeah.
of the month book club.
I'm going to hit up Gail. So
Right.
then, because I have easier access to Gail. And then she going to tell Oprah, like, yo, you got to read this book.
Talk to me about this. I be seeing you posting stuff about you hooking people up. Are you Cupid?
Yeah, I'm a matchmaker, not by trade or anything. I don't charge for it, but a lot of times I'll be in a group, like a new crew, and I'll be hanging out with the crew, and I'll see where dude and girl are perfect for each other, and I'm like, y'all don't see this, y'all just gonna ignore this. So sometimes, like, if I know a dude and a girl who I think should be together, I'll tell the dude like, hey, yo, man, let's meet up for drinks or let's meet up for dinner. And I'll tell the girl like, hey, there's something I gotta talk about. Let's meet up for dinner. And then I won't show up. They'll two show up, and then they'll get to know each other, and it'll go from there. Or sometimes it's just I'll send something to a girl in another dude's name, and then she's feeling it, and then they get together that way. So sometimes there's people, they'll get married and they'll have kids and stuff. They don't even know it's me till later.
Casanova.
It's sometimes it's so obvious that I can't ignore it. Like, y'all should just be together. Y'all, this is too obvious.
Hey, my Price is Right button worked. This thing ain't worked in like 6 months. My bad.
That's perfect for when dude be like, hey, yo, hook me up with old girl, and I'm like, one, you got a girl already, and you ain't on her level, so I'm sorry.
Not gonna be able to do it, y'all. Man, so what's up next for you? You said there's a new book coming out this year?
Yeah, there's gonna be another book of short stories. It's gonna be based on a lot of people and places from Lorraine. That's probably gonna be out the fall or winter of this year. 2 YouTube channels that I'm working on now. Hopefully they'll be out sometime in the summer. One is gonna be on just being a vegetarian, not like preaching to you about vegetarianism, just like a regular dude that I'm gonna be trying different recipes, restaurants. A big thing is the vegetarian meats, where some of it is good and it tastes like the real thing. Some of it is shit and you should avoid it. Like some people like, I'm gonna be a vegetarian. They go get a vegetarian hot dog and it's gross. And they're like, man, fuck this. I ain't doing this. I'm gonna be there to say, yo, this is good. This is trash. This is what I'm going through. When I get cravings, I have this. And then the second channel is gonna be me being an author, interviewing other authors. I got my podcast out that'll be starting this 4th season in a few weeks, where I interview authors all over the world. We have fun with it.
Where do we find that at?
You can find all of this at my website, morewriting.com. You go there. There's the books. There's the audio drama. There's a podcast. There's stuff in the community that I'm doing. It's all on the website.
If you're looking for that it's MOORE writing.com. More as in the last name, More.
Yeah, don't go to MORE because I don't know what's on that site.
Right.
You know, we talking to a bunch of hip hop and R&B artists. So don't go to MOE or MO.
Right.
MO.
Yeah, we want to make sure they get there, man. We want to make sure they get there. Well, Robert, man, it has been an absolute.
Oh, wait. I got a question.
Oh, okay.
For aspiring authors, because I did earlier in the show say that I'm thinking about writing my own book.
Okay.
Not being a young writer, even though I wrote in hip hop and different things like that. If you could give me 3 steps to get started?
Okay.
What would they be?
First step is finish your project, your manuscript. A lot of people get halfway through and then they think, okay, what's next? Everything else comes second to actually getting done. Nothing goes without finishing. So get the project done. The second thing you want to do is, my recommendation to people is take the time to solicit agents, because you might have the next great thing. You might be on Oprah's couch. So I would say try the traditional route first, see how far you get. It's like trying to get signed to a label. You might be the next Jay-Z. Try that route. If it doesn't work that way, then look at self-publishing, look at independent publishing, kind of go that route and see where you go.
Okay. Now let me scale it back a little bit. That's good route. When we talk about people that's like, you know what, I think I could write a book. How would they get started? Like, just pick up a pen and just get the writing? Sit at the keyboard, just get the typing of the way?
Yeah, just get something down, get started, get your project working. One of the things that you can do before you start that is find some books in a genre or the lane that you're looking to write in, and then just get the idea of how you want your book to flow and how it works. And then once you read a few, then just start writing, because once you get something done and you might find an editor, and then that editor will clean it up, tell you to do this and that. I had to go through that too. And practice makes perfect, especially with writing.
Right.
If you suck at it, but that's your passion, the more you do it, you will get better. And then on the other hand, if you got all the talent in the world and you don't start writing or keep up with it, you will lose it. You will start to suck.
Okay. appreciate it.
And you know what? One other thing too, this coming up Monday at the South Branch Library in Lorraine, we're having an MLK celebration. But it's a good thing for people to come, meet other people in the community that's trying to make a change. Maybe you want to get involved, but you don't know where to start. Me and you, we met at an MLK.
Yeah,
day.
actually, when you popped up on our thing last week, I had mentioned that was where I had first met you at. That was 2 years ago now.
Actually, that's where I met him at last year down at the coffee house.
Yeah. Come down, see what's going on. We're going to talk about issues in the community. We're going to talk about solutions. We're going to hold people to them. So, like, if you just show up and say, man, this crime, kids don't got nothing to do, there's going to be people that have ideas that we can at least try to make a difference.
Hey. I just want to make sure one thing happens this year, okay? Let's get Marcus Cross the lyrics to Lift Every Voice and Sing right now. Let's have rehearsal.
Shout out to Marcus.
Let's have rehearsal. Let's make sure he got it down. I want it to be on point. Both verses. I want both verses this year. All clear coming through.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because the last few times I'm sitting there like,
there you go.
Make sure what you say. Make sure that list is for everybody. Everybody gets a copy.
Right.
Don't none of us know it.
Yeah. So get printouts. Let's print out the African American national anthem. Lift Every Voice and Sing. Get the lyrics ready. What time does that start?
Off the top, I think it's from 1 to 3. But you can find out. Follow me on Facebook. You can find me More Writing, Robert J. Moore. I'll be posting on it. There's a website for community things. It's called the Holy Days of Atonement. Search for it on Facebook. You will find it. Get at me. If you want to come, you want to know the detailed information, email me, robert@morewriting.com. That's with 2 O's. I'll get you all the information. But, yeah, you're right. I might print out some lyrics beforehand. Just bring them with me. Like,
just the first verse. Let people read a little bit beforehand.
Hey, I got a couple authors I want to throw out there and get your feedback on real quick.
Okay.
These is my 2 favorite authors.
Okay.
Clyde Clussler.
You know what? I'm gonna keep it real and say I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
What titles does he have?
Like The Wrecking. Is he more like a old school? What's my man's name? Adventure.
Okay.
What's dude's name? The Pacific Vortex.
Okay, I'm not familiar.
Raising the Titanic. Night Probe, Deep Six, and my other Arthur is Donald Goines.
Fan of his. Shout out to him. I'm a huge fan of all authors in general that are good, and particularly African American authors, because we need more of them, because we need more people in the African community reading. Because there's a lot of times where I'll go to a show, again, just keeping it real, where I'm selling books, and especially Listen to My Kaleidoscope is geared for minorities. I mean, everybody can enjoy it, but if you're a black kid from Lorraine or a Hispanic kid from Lorraine, you're gonna get more out of that book than what you would somebody living in Wellington.
Right.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, Lorraine holds it down. There's people in Lorraine who's purchased, but when I go to Cuyahoga County, we go to certain selling places. There's people who are of non-minority background. They'll cop for their kids. But there's a lot of times where young minority kids will say, "Mom, I want that book," and they'll get toys and food and stuff, but they won't get books. So I would like to see more minorities reading.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why I started, myself and some other people started the youth group here in Lorraine, because we just don't want to say, we should get our kids reading more. Let's do something about it. Let's start something up. So that's why we started the youth group.
Yeah, because it's sad that, as far as black males go, anyway, that, we don't read unless we're in school or in the penitentiary. That's when we read.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost as if reading is time consuming and we don't have time to sit down and take that adventure, when that's something that you should do. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go nowhere to have an adventure.
And I think that's where having more minority African American writers come in, because we can relate, and reading can be fun. It don't have to be a chore or something you can do.
Right.
If you find something that you like, that you enjoy, you can read it. And I even tell dudes, I tell guys, I say, you're trying to impress a girl, you're trying to pick her up, read a book and talk about the book. If she asks you what you're doing, talk about I'm reading this book and then explain to it. That'll get you points.
Right.
And then also, you know, when holidays come, you got to get a gift. Don't get the flowers. Don't get the candy. Or at least don't let that be the only thing, because if you're trying to get with girl, there's 10 other guys trying to get with her too. They're sending flowers, roses. Add a book in there. Send her your favorite book, and it'll make you stand out. It'll make you shine a little bit better.
Right. Dirk Pitt was the name of the character from Clyde Cluster.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look him up. I gotta get on with him.
85 years old now. Damn. Shouts out to Clyde Cluster.
You know, there's a lot of authors in Lorraine that I got to shout out to, like Sade.
Mhm.
She's here from Lorraine. She got a book that is a powerful book that young girls can relate to. Like I said, Kelly Boyer Sagart. She did something for WVIZ that's national now. Man, there's so many dope authors that are straight
Right
from
here.
here. Yeah, that write about from here that I think a lot of people here can really relate to.
Mm-hmm. And Arthur's stories get picked up and turned into movies. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, young Arthurs get on it.
That's some of the things I think about. And all the time on Facebook, I'm always asking people if there was a movie about Lorraine or about people growing up here, who would play you in the movie? And I try
Right.
to think about that when I meet people. I'm like, you know, so-and-so should play this person, or this is who I would get to play this person.
That's dope. That's dope that you're thinking ahead like that, because it can happen within a blink of an eye. So you got to be prepared for, you know what I'm saying, whatever your dreams or goals are, you got to be prepared for what, you know, when you set that goal, you prepare yourself for all the little nuances that may take place in that journey.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I'd love to see a movie or a TV show based on Lorraine and the characters that live here.
The international city.
Yeah, you got politicians that are, you got street people, you got business people, you got people trying to make things happen, the storylines that happen here, and all the different scenery and things that are in the county. I just think, man, that would be dope to turn on Fox and see Lorraine coming on Wednesdays at 10 o'clock after Empire.
Right. That would be dope. It would definitely bring some money to a city, too. And it got the room.
Oh,
I mean, you got it's enough room down here downtown to just shoot a sitcom or something like that. I was actually thinking about trying to bring back like a WKRP in Cincinnati, based around the internet radio instead of mainstream radio. I mean, and we got a platform for it right here, so it's an ideal that I've been thinking about pitching, along with writing books and doing a lot.
Yeah. You know what? You just reminded me of something. I got to check Netflix because Nicolas Cage did a movie when he was filming around here. People kept saying, I saw Nicolas Cage at Apple's. I saw him around. And I'm like, man, he's trying to score something or trying to get something. But he was filming a movie here. So I got to, it's called Dog Eat Dog. And I got to check that movie.
I just seen that on Showbox.
And you know what? If he was, I hope he went to Rainbows and got some rice and beans and some pastelillos and really kept it Lorraine. I would love to see that in the movie.
Yeah, you definitely got to. As a matter of fact, I'm finna still get me some pastelillos.
Now I'm talking all that Spanish food. Now suddenly I got hungry now. Yeah, definitely got to hit up some rice and beans. Sound good right about now.
Yeah, I think I fit around right across the street to Tropicana or Tropicans.
I ain't never ate there. It's good.
It's decent. You
Okay.
know, they're a little pricey, but it's decent.
Okay, if the food's good and it's worth it, I'll check them out. I had that's another beef that's going on in Lorraine is who got the best Spanish food. Is it Rainbows? Is it El Capone?
See, I ain't had Rainbows. I done did El Capone and Sabor and another one. What's the name of another one?
Mikasa.
Yeah, I did.
Shout out to Mikasa. They got good. I've went through there a couple times and.
Now, where is Rainbows at?
Rainbows is South Lorraine on Pearl and 28th Street. No, it's Pearl and like 29th Street.
Okay,
It's a yellow building on the corner.
So that's like behind what is that building right there?
It's like
right there on the corner of
there's a-
28 and Pearl.
There's a bank that's right there. There's
Is it a bank? Yeah, it is.
It's like across the street from the bank.
And El Centros or something like that?
Yeah,
El
yeah,
Centros
right
there,
across
too?
the street.
Okay, I got you.
I grew up on their food because when it was me and my cousins and stuff and my aunt and my mom had to feed all of us, we could go down to Rainbows and get one of them large dinners and feed everybody for like $5. Not the same as growing up. I don't even know if Puerto Ricans run it right now, But I mean, I think some Middle Easterns had it at one point. It wasn't quite right. Not like somebody's abuela would make it.
It just
but-
reminded me of Rush Hour when he ran in the Chinese restaurant. The black dude owned the Chinese restaurant.
When I was learning Mandarin, that was like, look at Robert on Rush Hour with his wife.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Hey, that might be a business idea. We might have to open up a soul food Taiwanese spot.
Fusion restaurant. I apologize, y'all. I had to step out for a second. I had some lifestyle studio business to attend to. Got cut off deadlines for ordering stuffs and numbers ain't working. I'm sitting here placing an order, holding a conversation, but then when the numbers ain't working and you getting errors, you got to make a couple phone calls. So I got that stuff straightened out. So once again, apologize for stepping away. But it seems like Ty was able to pick up the ball and run with it. You already know, professional in the building. I happened to catch the tail end of that conversation. Was you talking about rainbows?
We were talking about who has the best Spanish food in Lorraine, because that's a thing too. Where is it El Capone? Is it Rainbows? Is it Casa?
You know, that's one of those things to where, as with the pizza, I feel like the answer is not somebody's mom's house. You know what I'm saying? like I feel like them old ovens at Cellini's or Giovanni's or Yala's, is producing better pizza. Now when we start talking about that Spanish food, you know what I'm saying? I think somebody grandma, abuela is chefing it up better. But as far as the restaurants are concerned, you definitely got some great choices to choose from throughout the city. Big shout out to Mi Casa Sabor Latino Restaurante.
Yeah, there.
That's my homie. That's big homie Ramon. Show you how to do it, man. Show you how to do it. We talk about that because there's no soul food restaurants in Lorraine.
Yeah,
there's nowhere in Lorraine. Only place you can go in Lorraine and get some decent barbecue is Arctic Seafood. You hip to Arctic Seafood? It's on the east side, man.
I heard of them, but I never been there.
Yeah, it's
Is that the little spot like right around the corner?
Yeah, basically,
Other
across
side of
the
the river?
bridge, and then
Little blue building?
yeah.
I've been saying I was gonna go check
With the
them out.
little
They got
fish
some
on the
seafood
thing. Yeah,
over
man.
there?
It's
some soul food?
Yeah, it's one of those old school places, just like all the other places that they probably just started accepting cards a year ago. You know what I mean? They got a paper menu that you got to go onto like their Facebook page and then find the picture that they took of the paper menu to see it.
That's my type of spot right there.
Exactly. You want them to be focused on the food, and that's what's bringing people there, not none of this extra stuff that they got going on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they got a full thing of seafood. They do ribs. They do barbecue chicken. It's not. I wouldn't call it soul food. You know what I mean? But if you gonna say ribs is soul food, then they got soul food. You know what I mean? But I just feel like I would love to see some. Just one. Give me one.
Yeah,
one where I can go in. And there's been some that have been open throughout out the years. Most recently, you had Mama J's that was open up. But here's the thing with black people when we open up businesses. It's like I think both sides, like the business owner has to step their game up, and the consumers, we have to step our game up as consumers and recognize that, hey, if we see one of our own out doing something and we're gonna go spend this money, let's go give them a shot. Not saying we're gonna give you all of our money every time just because you're black, but let's just recognize the fact that as black people, we're playing behind the 8 ball. We've all been born into this world where we're not equal, like regardless of whatever you want to say, automatically. So one of the things that we can do to combat that is kind of recognize when we see each other and say, hey, let's go help this brother out. You know what I mean? Let's group together and do that, okay? But as a business owner, you have to do your job and say, I'm not just going to rely on that and say, hey, these black people are going to come and support me because I'm black, and regardless of what kind of service I give them, they're going to come back.
They damn sure going to want a discount.
Man, right. And that's the other thing about us as customers, how we have to step our game up, is stop expecting a deal from. It should be, and you know what? I get that I get both sides of that. I get people, and this is white, black, whatever. Okay, I get people who want a deal. When I give you a price, that is a deal. I'm giving you the best price I could give you. I'm not trying to get over on nobody. I'm gonna give you this price. You take it or leave it.
Yeah.
But then I got people to where I say, give me 15 and they give me 20. And because they recognize the value of what I'm doing, they say, you know what, just because you my boy, I still recognize that this is a $20 shirt and that anywhere else I would pay $20 for this. So I'm going to give you $20 for it too. And sometimes it's just like, you know what, I'm going to give you this extra $5 because I love what you're doing. I support you. Sometimes people will just come in and they'll say, you know what, I've had people come in from Detroit, other cities, Missouri, other places in the country. Okay, they come over here to do radio interviews, and they see the studio next door, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on over here?" And they come in, and before they leave, they like, "I'm getting something." You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I wish that more people that actually lived here felt like that and understood that we have the buying power to make the difference in people's lives, to give people a way to provide for their family and to expand their businesses, and I just wish that we recognized our power more like that,
Yeah, I definitely see that. I always get asked the discount thing all the time. I tell them, like, I'm getting it to you for, there's no profit margin there as is. But I had one guy, he said, "Yeah, let me get one of those books." And I handed him the book, and he went walking off with it. And I'm like, "Hey, that's so much money." I'm like, "Oh, man." And he had Jordans on his feet. And I'm like,
yeah.
You can afford Jordans and the finest clothes, but you can't give me what the book is worth. And I try to tell people, I say, one, if you support black business, even just local business, the money stays in the community. And a lot of the people that own these businesses are trying to do something, that money is going back into the community, to where a lot of the stuff that I've done in public or that I've contributed money to, those are from book sales. So you can go buy author who has $80 million in the bank and he don't care nothing about you. That's fine, but if you buy from me or Sade or one of the other local authors, that money is going to get put back into the community.
Absolutely.
And I try to tell people, I'm like, try it like the 50-50 challenge, where if you're going to buy this $100 t-shirt, spend $100 in Lifestyle Studio. Try to at least match it. If you got a $500 handbag, go buy one of Javon Terrence's bags.
Yeah, get you some advertisement with since 1974 radio. Man, I mean, like 500, that's like a year worth of advertising.
That's brand loyalty and this materialistic culture that we live in, where people would rather, I say something to myself all the time, like, people have small businesses sitting in their closets, in the form of shoes and purses and clothes and stuff, and they don't realize that while they hate their job, they have the means to make another way out, but they can't get out of that. I gotta buy this, I gotta buy that, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. And really, at the end of the day, all those things are kind of, it's what does it mean? Yeah.
You gotta. A lot of those things are. One is. A lot of those things are trying to impress someone else.
Oh yeah.
When a lot of times the people that you're trying to impress, if they're truly genuine people, that stuff don't matter. It don't matter what you can afford or you can't, because that kind of comes and goes. It's the quality of the person that you are, and that kind of goes back to supporting the community. Where, for me, if I saw somebody wearing something local, to me that means something more. I can relate more to that than if they, have name brand or something else, and it just means more.
Yeah, it creates a pride level. I just, going forward, there's like a paradigm shift that I hope to see happen in our community, to where things start to change, to where, like, being the tech guy is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like we're speaking with a complex vocabulary, or not just saying big words just to say them, but having a vocabulary. These type of things are things that are cool and things that women are promoting as, hey, sexy. Like, look at this sexy, smart, respectful guy. You know what I mean? And then as those things start to happen, I think you'll see that shift as when young men they come up and they say, okay, I want to be like this guy and this guy, instead of trying to be like things right now that may not be that conducive to them having positive lives.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose. The ladies hold the key.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see Chirac.
Power to the.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If like women said, we're gonna have this standard of guy, nothing's going down. Ain't no hooking up. Ain't nobody getting no numbers unless you meet this level. Watch how suddenly dudes will suddenly find the way to meet that level.
Yeah, ain't that what Chirac? What you were saying?
Yeah.
That's what Chirac was about.
Yep.
It was like nobody was getting none if there was violence. So once the violence stopped, then business would pick back up, and it's true. Women kind of they don't. A lot of times I think women don't realize it, but they do. If you hold guys to a standard, guys will find a way to meet that standard in order to.
They always say it's the New Year's resolution to go work out, but every time I meet a new chick or be like, hey, get a new phone number, I be in the gym like, until I, she ain't even worth it. Then I ain't working out no more.
It's the end of that program. Yeah, man. I hope to see a lot of changes here 2017. Did you make any New Year's resolutions?
Me, I really don't try to do specifics, but what I do is at the end of the year, I look back through the year and I say, am I better off now than when I started off? Did I go farther than what I did? Because sometimes you hit a resolution and there's something that'll get in the way that's beyond your control.
Right.
And if you don't hit that resolution, you might look back and say, it was a failure. Sometimes you go through a struggle, but sometimes that's the resolution is, hey, I survived through this struggle. So I look at the end. At December 31st, I look back at my January 1st and say, am I farther along? If I'm not, what do I need to do to kind of to get farther along? So there's things I want to do in 2017. I want the book out. I want my 2 YouTube channels out. Want to get out and grind more, see more people in person. Want to go to an authors conference. Want to really boost up the youth literary program that we got going on. Get more kids involved. Get more involved in the community and
that's awesome.
And have a louder voice.
It's awesome, dog. Give us the information for the meeting on Martin Luther King Day next week one more time.
That's going to be at the South Branch at the Lorain Public Library. It starts at 1 o'clock, I believe, and it's going to end at 3. Show up. You don't have, even if you're not wanting to participate, you just want to see who's doing what, meet people. That's a big thing because a lot of times we don't know each other.
Yes.
There might be a topic that comes up that you might say, man, that's right up my alley, or I want to get involved in that. Just show up and be heard.
Absolutely, y'all. I'm gonna try to make it. My schedule, the way it's set up, is a little bit differently now than a couple years ago because I got my little one with me now.
Congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So it's pretty damn cool. She just started walking, so the fun has begun, without a doubt. But yeah, I definitely am looking forward to meeting some new people and also reconnecting with some people that I know are going to be there that I may have not seen in a little bit. And that's definitely an afternoon full of positive vibes. And in a day when a lot of people are going to be off from whatever they're doing, make sure even if you can't go out there, that you find some kind of way to give back to the community in whatever way you're able to, whether it's, passing down a skill or donating a couple dollars or whatever, picking up some trash, whatever you could do, make it happen in your own way and make a difference this coming up Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yes, sir.
I'll be slaving.
Well,
No, I'm in
But-
Detroit Thursday and Friday, Kansas City Saturday and Sunday, and then back to the ship Sunday.
back home,
Sunday
back
night.
home. But you know what? You're gonna be on that ship next to some white men, ain't
Yep,
you?
well,
And that's the
yeah.
dream.
I don't know. I think it's some Latinos on the ship.
We're black, whites, and Hispanic men can work together.
I think the white guy still got the whip. No, I'm just bullshitting. Each one teach one, man. Blessings to everybody, man. For real, for real. Martin Luther King, it wasn't just for the black folks. He was for all of us, man. For real.
Yep,
So,
and that was the
salute.
real point of what he was saying. The dream is for us to all, just be able to live together, and to have our African American and Taiwanese families and our African American and Caucasian families and whatever the hell Ty got going on. I think he might.
Obama is a Mac Daddy.
And our biracial president, So one more time, shout out to him. And big shout out, thank you to Robert J. Moore for Moore Writing Publishing for coming through. Lorraine's own Chelsea Ave coming through, chopping it up with us. I am the DJ. This was my show. Ty House produced it. We will be back next Wednesday. I think we're gonna stick with the 3 o'clock time slot on Wednesdays as long as that works for Mr. House. And as long as it works for me, we will be here. Don't forget, you can check out the replay of this on www.since1974radio.com. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Anything else, Ty?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat.
Snapchat.
We snapping. I'm on Tumblr too, but I ain't giving y'all that address just yet.
Since 1970x.com. Hey, y'all. It was cool. Like I said, I will see you next time. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace. Man, don't end my show with that sound.
It was like this time, same time. I remember it all quite really well. Yeah, just the other day. I was posted on the block. I was trying to get a knot. I was ducking from the ops. I was busting all them shots. I was fooling with a thought. I was getting me some top. I was scheming me a plot. I was jugging out the lot. I was posted on the block. I was trying to get a knot. I was ducking from the ops. I was busting all them shots. I was fooling with a thought. I was getting me some top. I was scheming me a plot. I was jugging out the lot. I was trapping out the stove. Doing music round the globe. Catch 1,000 with the bros. Money over all these hoes. Niggas brazy breaking codes. That's why they losing their souls. Them should be sold in a towel. That's why these niggas is broke. Muddy drink in my cup. Purple dank in my blunt. Bad bitch and she stunt. Cause I laced that bitch up. Emoji sign, what the fuck? Got them staring, on stuck. Get too close, get touched. Your girl look good, get fucked. Make a bundle off a pot. Had to lock it when it's hot. I was jugging around the block. Had that rocket in my sock. I poured a lean crack a seal. To help that I love how it feel. Bitches like Patrick O'Neal. Just cause a nigga got a deal. Ballin' with no sense. Fresh press with no lint. I don't need no lip. Man, that bitch so thick. Damn, she got more hips. Ass like Serena and Venus. Ayy.